Welcome to Rooted in Liberty, the podcast where small town stories meet unbelievable truths. Here, we sit back, relax, and share the kind of tales you just can't make up. These are the true, yet extraordinary moments from our own lives. Stories that could only happen in a place like Liberty, Kentucky.
Hey, welcome back to Rooted in Liberty podcast. As always, I'm Josh.
I'm Chris.
And there ain't nobody in between us today.
We're snowed in.
Snowed in. Got a little, I got probably 3 inches here.
Yeah.
In the 2 days.
And it just kind of depends what part you measure in your yard, because that snow was so light.
Yeah.
It just all around the garage is like 10 inches.
Yeah, real dry snow, real powdery snow, and no good for nothing until the sun hits it and starts melting a little bit, and then you can get out there and build you a snowman.
Yeah, but the whole state's shut down because of a little snow.
A little snow and all that water.
All right, let me ask you this. Do you ever remember school? Like, what would it take when you were in school for it to cancel?
Well,
Was it this bad?
rural America, yeah. I mean, I don't know. There were times where it seemed like a flurry.
All right.
Maybe it's because they were calling for more, and then they cancel school. I don't remember. I mean, it was about like it is now. It's just, if they're giving the back roads is the big thing. Right now, the state roads are all clear. They wouldn't this morning, but
No.
they're all clear now. County roads are in bad shape. It's just the county don't have the salt and the manpower to take care of them.
Yeah.
They'll hit the hills and stuff, and that's fine.
Yeah, when I texted you about that one road, it was pretty good. The hills were part.
Oh, did you go that way?
Yeah, I went that way.
Okay.
I risked it. I was like, I was already turning on that road, and you texted. I'm like, well, we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, anyways, but this week we're at less than 20 degrees for the high and 3 inches of snow. And last week we had 7 to 9 inches of rain.
You're right.
And
All in one day. Sunday was crazy. Saturday, it rained and rained and rained like Forrest Gump. And then Sunday we woke up I walk over and I come back out and it's blizzard outside.
Yep.
I'm like, what in the world?
yeah, it's Kentucky weather. What do you do?
So, and then 3-4 weeks ago we had 70-degree weather.
Yeah. And
So-
next week's gonna be in the 50s and
Yeah.
up and down. Mother Nature gives us a little tease every now and then of what's to come, but then she'll come right back and bite you again with 10 degrees and snow.
I saw it's like the temperature's like pulling a Powerball number.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got a lot of rain here. Liberty has kind of been a bowl.
Yeah.
And luckily with the bypass, we didn't have any flooding like we did back 14 years ago, I think it was. A buddy of mine, I seen him this morning. His son lives in Pikeville.
Oh, he does?
And he lost his house.
Oh, wow.
Not lost it, but 26 inches of water inside. Lost everything. Lost both vehicles. They had to evacuate the house and go up the hill and
And just sit there and watch it.
sit there and watch it in the yard by a building that they had.
Yeah.
And then the dad, they drove down there and got them, and the water's receded now, and they're ripping out drywall and trying to get it dried out so they can restart. But just pray for all those people, and the ones that had it even worse than that. But
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. I like living up on a ridge. I couldn't imagine something like
I
that.
text Brian King the other day when it was raining. I said, you staying safe from all this water. He hit me with this. He said, the water's to us. I'm looking for the ark. Because,
Yeah.
but, I'm still getting used to how the geographical, how we're laid out. So, but other than that, we're sorry for last week. We're about a week behind this. I think this will be episode 12.
Should be 12.
12. And last week we had a fella from church pass away, and I had the funeral, and then sickness is going around. His wife's been sick. Our kids were sick. I had an ear infection, and it's going around. So
Did you pee in it?
what?
Your ear infection?
No,
Remember we talked about that?
No, I wasn't brave enough for that. My luck, it would do the complete opposite.
Yeah. Make it worse.
You're right.
Well, hey, let's talk about a sponsor real quick.
All right.
Shelter Insurance.
Shelter
Liberty,
Insurance.
in Liberty, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Our little buddy, Kevin Atwood. He's a pretty little feller. You, home, life, auto insurance. I've got auto and life, and he's got auto, and he'll give you a good deal. Go check him out. 606-787-8770. If you don't know where they're at, it's over kind of in behind A&D to the left. You got Liberty Trinkets and then Shelter, and then that used to be Radio Shack, used to be Movie Town there. He's right there. You can't miss him. And in the back, round back, you've got his brother, Brent. He takes care of detailing and tinting your vehicles. So same phone number. Call them up. Let them take care of you, and tell them we sent you.
Yep. Yeah, if you need flood damage or wrecked your car during the snow, he'd come over there, and he's an agent. I'll go out.
Yeah.
And I was with an agency for 20-something years, and I didn't even know the guy. I just sent him a check.
Yep.
And we moved down here. Josh got me connected. A bunch of people in the community said, you need to use this guy right here. And he's been fantastic. Cut my rates in half.
Yeah.
And all that fun stuff. So
I guess you could say I saved you a bundle.
you saved me the bundle.
I saved you. I'm like a gecko.
I thought what's the flow? Either the flow.
I'm not really like, I'm more like the gecko, I believe. Yeah. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. That's not Shelter's logo. I don't know what their logo is or their motto. Kevin, we need a motto, buddy.
We'll make one up for them.
Yeah.
But tell them in there and tell them Chris and Josh sent you, and they should take care of you.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's get started on some stories. We're going to talk a little bit about just tearing stuff up.
What boys do best.
Yeah, growing up, we tore up so much stuff that I don't really have stories about, but we tore up so much stuff of Dad's.
I see why he's handy.
I can remember being down in the woods one time, and we needed an axe or something like that, and I knew where Dad's hatchet was that he used to split kindling in the wintertime.
Yeah.
We went and got that. We took it down there in the woods, which was across the road from Mom and Dad's house. We played with it. We cut down trees, just little stuff.
And you leave it?
And we left it and forgot about it. Well, then a few days later, a week later, whatever, Dad, where's my hatchet at?
And you're like,
I might know where it's at.
and then it clicks.
Then you tell him, he's like, go down there and get it. And you're like, Dad, it may not be there anymore. Maybe months went by and then the grass grew up over it. I don't know.
It's all rusted.
I think we found it. I don't remember. Maybe the handle was broke out of it or something.
He's tossed it to the side.
I remember, Dad, he was a carpenter there for a few years and had his own home improvement business and, kept a truck full of tools. Still does.
Hell yeah.
And I remember we need a hammer. You just go to the truck and there'd be 4 or 5 hammers in there. Well, you'd always get the hammer, his favorite hammer.
Right.
His hammer, the one that was his. And then when he gets to a job, he's in there digging around there for that hammer. Or he'll tell the boys, go out there and get this hammer and that square. And go out there and, the square is a triangle. If you're looking for a square and you go out there and you can't find that hammer and he knows it's in there and he knows it's in there. And
it's organized chaos.
You walk back there to him. I've been looking 15 minutes. I can't find it.
What's
he do? Walks out there.
Sure.
If you'd pay attention to where you was looking, you'd have found it.
All right. If it was a snake, it would have bit you kind of thing.
Yeah, but there was times where he didn't have tools to find because we had tore them up or lost them. But
he came over one time to do something for the church or in my house when I was moving in. And he walked out there. He said, Josh has got my drill. I guess you grabbed it instead of the drill. He had a whole bag of drills.
Yeah.
You took it to go work on something.
Yeah. There was for a while there, Dad, he would something be missing in the garage or something he needed, and he'd call me or text me. Hey, you got my this? No, Dad, I don't have that.
All right.
Oh, I can't find it.
Called Tanner?
Did you call Tanner?
No.
He'll call Tanner and text me back. Tanner had it. Okay. Next month he rolls around, he'll do the same thing. You got my this? I say, hey, did you call Tanner? No. Check with Tanner first. Tanner might have it. I tend to bring stuff back.
All right.
Sometimes. Like if you go out here on my carport right now, I've got a handful of Tommy's things.
You got more Tommy's stuff.
I got his ladder, his 4-wheeler,
his boat.
There's 4 or 5 different things out there that's his.
I know we were going to record today. He texted me and said, hey, bring your drill and Stud Finder.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay.
Yeah, I don't have either one.
So if you want
to
to sponsor Josh with some tool sets,
Well, I had a DeWalt set. I bought a DeWalt set with 2 drills, the charger, the batteries, and I got this little thing that I hang on the side of my bucket truck to go up in the air and work on like signs and different stuff. I can put my drill and stuff in there.
right.
And where I was cleaning gutters at the courthouse in Liberty with the bucket truck, and I had that little tool thing hanging on
Like
there.
a tool caddy thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last time that I remember seeing that tool caddy, which had my drill and stuff in it, was at that job. And I would have come down and set it off on the ground and then folded up the bucket. I can't find the thing. I don't know where it's at. I looked all around the courthouse.
Somebody saw that and said, "Ooh, thank you."
Yeah, might have been one of the inmates there beside the jail. I don't know.
Why you gotta blame them for it?
Well, it's right there by the jail.
Okay.
Courthouse. See, they're always there.
I know, I'm
They're
just teasing.
inmates.
I'm just teasing you.
So I went in the courthouse. Nobody had seen it. I don't know where it's at. So I lost it.
Okay.
Anyways, we'll get to a story here.
That's a story.
Well, yeah, but
Losing stuff.
I don't want to lose people's attention by rambling.
All right. Go ahead.
We was talking about breaking stuff.
Yeah.
And I know you got a story or two. And we'll just bounce back and forth.
Okay.
Used to, the other day, we was at the ball game and we was talking. I went up there and talked to my buddy Chris Fair, who I worked for 2 to 3 years there right out of high school. I think when me and Ashley were dating, I was still working there. But anyways, grain farm, I was having the time of my life working there because it was just cool.
Okay.
It was a big grain farm and we were I was having a great time. But you all life on a farm people know that sometimes things break. Sometimes, especially when you got people working for you,
Yeah.
it's not their stuff. So remember, they're maybe not as careful as you would be. And I'm not saying that I was one of those guys. I tried to take care of stuff, but we had a boy working with us that didn't. He was,
Oh yeah.
he tore up a lot of stuff. We had this old spreader truck and it was, for spreading fertilizer. I don't remember the year of the truck. Anyway, single cab truck with a spreader box on the back. You could haul about 10 ton of fertilizer in it. We spread potash and DAP and chicken litter and stuff like that. And I loved running that truck. And this boy, he, I ain't gonna mention his name. Well, it don't matter, y'all. He might watch it. Clint, we'll just leave it at that. Clint, he had one speed, and Clint's speed was wide open.
Oh yeah.
Everything he did, he done it either he wasn't moving or he was running wide open. Well, we had this spreader truck. We was spreading fertilizer on ground that we was getting ready to plant. And out here on Tennessee Ridge, we had this farm. It was 80 acres.
Okay.
And I don't know, the back side of this property in this field was a old natural gas, or I guess well casing sticking up out of the ground. It didn't stick up very high, and it was super thick. It was like 1 inch thick steel, pipe sticking up out of the ground, probably 12 inches or so. And we had it marked with like a T-post and orange ribbon or something like that. You could see it. So he was out there spreading, and this truck that you drove, when you were spreading, you wasn't looking. You didn't necessarily look out the windshield. You looked off to the side to your computer.
Okay.
And it had your map of your farm, and you were following your track. It overlaid it, color coded, differently whenever
So it kind of marked where you went.
where you've been. That way you don't. And if you overlap, it went a different color. So you're kind of watching that because out in the field you can't really see where you've already been because
Gotcha.
you're spreading, I think, 60 feet
Oh wow.
swipe. So
I was wondering how that stuff works.
yeah. Now a lot of your other fertilized buggies, they don't spread that far. They're maybe 30 feet, so 15 on each side. This one spread about 30 feet on each side.
Gotcha.
So it's hard to see 30 feet over there,
right.
and you're looking for a tire track. So anyways, in this big old truck,
So he's focused on the screen.
he's driving, steering wheel here, and I'm trying to, where you can hear me, computer's here, and every now and then you look and just make sure you're not going to hit a telephone pole or run into something.
Right.
And he's going, and like I said, wide open all the time. Now, nobody was there to witness it because it was just,
Supposedly.
from what I'm fixing to tell you happened, you can kind of paint a picture. he's a driving, and he didn't see that well casing sticking up out of the ground. He drilled it.
How high are you in this tractor?
I mean,
how high are you sitting up in this tractor?
well, it's a truck. You're, well, it's about like my bucket truck. You're probably up, I don't know, your butt's probably 6 foot off the ground.
So it's one of those things where it's hard to see right down in front of you.
Yeah, but you see it coming.
Okay.
If you know what you're looking for. He shouldn't have hit it, but he did. Anyways, he centered that thing, and it caught the front axle of that truck.
Yeah.
And it hit it so hard that it ripped the front axle out and laid it like the front tires were laying against the back tires. And when he hit, of course, it threw him forward.
Right.
And his foot mashed the gas down.
Gotcha.
And so it empowered it more. It kind of lifted the front of the truck, I guess. And his head busted the windshield. He had burns on his arm from the steering wheel.
Oh, wow.
And it hit so hard that it broke the transmission off all the way around on the bell housing, and it was laying there on the ground. So
It's one of those like,
it was a hard hit.
It's one of those like, you just call a friend and come get me now.
Yeah. Well, I guess he called. I was in the shop there where, the boss's house and whatnot was, and we worked on everything. And the boss, Chris, was there. And I remember, phone ringing, and then a wrench getting thrown, and some yelling, and
some other choice of words.
Yeah. And he corked mad. He knew what. And Chris, he knows I'm gonna say this. He don't mind. He used to be a little hot-headed. He's red-headed, so that explains it.
Gotcha.
He had a temper. But anyway,
Right. I mean,
who don't?
right.
Especially something like that. Thousands of dollars for this truck, and here this guy's done wrecked it and done a lot of damage. But anyways,
Right.
they had to haul the truck home.
Okay.
Clint, I guess, went to the hospital. I don't remember. They hauled the truck home, and we put it back together, or somebody did, fixed it. It never was the same. The transmission was never the same. The gears were never the same. But now it gets stuck in gear sometimes, and it was just, it was horrible for that truck. It was never the same. But that was one instance. The only time I ever broke anything on that truck was on the back of it. You've got your wheels, your spreader wheels, that everything trickles out on the chain, hits them spreaders, and just like salt on a salt truck, right?
Yeah.
We had an old track hoe that we loaded chicken manure with.
Okay.
They'd haul in chicken manure from wherever. We had a big old pile of it back there. Excuse me. We'd load it with a track hoe, an excavator, load my truck, and then I'd go spray it. And one day, I don't know if I wasn't paying attention or what happened, but I swung that bucket around and it hit that wheel, one of them wheels on the back, and it just snapped it clean off. I didn't see it happen, but I looked and I'm like, oh man, that's broke. This guy, I was using it, so I had to take the blame for it.
All right.
There's always, when you run a farm, there's always going to be something tear up, especially if you're using older equipment, used equipment.
Kind of refurb stuff.
Yeah. And most farmers do. You got stuff that's old and can't afford to go out there and buy a brand new whatever.
Right.
You can go ahead and tell a story about breaking something. I'll break up another one.
Well, working in people's houses and working in the repairman industry and repairing and fixing and installing stuff, you're going to break stuff. You're going to lose stuff. And I worked on the cable company, and I worked for the cable company up there in Louisville, and we go all over. And one time I was drilling. It's probably the first time I remember breaking something. I was probably 19, 20. I'm sitting there drilling, go outside, and I'm sitting there. I'm giving it, going, big. I got the hammer on hammer mode. They're drilling hammer mode. And I'm going to town, and all of a sudden I remember feeling this big thud, and I heard glass shatter. Well, I didn't realize. I didn't look above me where I was drilling.
Yeah.
There was a little tiny rinky-dink shelf with like their wine glass from their wedding or something. Yeah. And that sucker, I guess it vibrated off and it fell and it hit me right in the head and it shattered, which when that happened, it didn't really hurt right then and there because I didn't know what what did I just break? I probably broke got grandma, Betty got it, it's been in the family for 1,000 years and it's irreplaceable. And of course you call the boss and say, hey, I broke this. And then of course they're like, oh, it's okay. I was out in the middle of nowhere. I think I was in like Smithfield or Pleasureville out there up there by Shelbyville and all that, one of those little random towns. But that was like the first time I remember breaking something in someone's house.
Yeah.
I've walked through and my tool bag will hit something, move a TV. That's the worst. You go to move a TV and the stand, they got a $800 TV on a $5 stand. And it's like, luckily I've never dropped a TV, but we've hung many TVs. But another story was I was working with a friend and we always count windows, go outside and you count this many windows over, and then you go inside, you count that many windows over, and you start drilling, you triple, double check, because you're drilling outside. I always hated drilling outside in.
Yeah.
But sometimes that was like your only option to get a wire inside a room, and he was drilling and we were going, and he's in there, and we walk back in the room, and then where's the hoe? No hoe. And we go out there and we're drilling again and go back in there. I know I'm in the right.
Yeah.
I said, this time, hey, just go ahead and put your drill in there, because the bit's like 3 foot, 2 foot long. So he leaves it in there. As we're walking by, I kind of look to the side, the bathroom door's open, and I just see that drill bit
Sticking through.
Yeah. Another time, I was at my old church, I was putting cameras in, and it was kind of a finished ceiling in a basement, and I'm drilling up, and when I didn't go all the way through because I didn't know what was behind it. You're always risking when you're drilling behind, on drywall, and you don't know what's behind it. You double check, you triple check, you try to make sure there's no pipes or nothing. And I remember drilling up, and I hear something. I'm like, oh no, back up, and water just start. It was the drain for the toilet. I'm glad it was empty, but. The funniest thing though, this is probably the funniest thing, I've been in many attics, and I've only fell through one. And of course that one I fell through was my own house.
Yeah.
We just moved in this house. I'm installing cameras, so I'm rushing, trying to get, my attic, I could stand up. I didn't have to crawl. So, and I'm just, you know how it is. You get comfortable.
Yeah.
You just assume, hey, I'm hitting every stud. Well, I'm rushing. That's the worst thing you can do in attic, is just rushing to get it done.
Or at anything.
Yeah. So I'm rushing. I think I'm going all the way across the house, and I'm coming my way back. I was pulling the wire. I've already ran the wire. I'm coming back. And I go take a step. Well, the stud moved. When that moved, because I was stepping over my AC vent or return or something, and when that moved, my foot just slid because I had my boots on.
Yeah.
And my knee was hanging all the way in the ceiling, all the way in the kitchen. Yeah. And my father-in-law was there. I forget what he was helping me doing. And I just heard him laugh. And then I hear my daughter, and she's like, it's snowing. Insulation was everywhere. And then my wife gets home, and she walks in the kitchen. The ceiling is ruined. Yeah. And then the insulation is just everywhere, and I'll never forget that. Luckily the refrigerator, it was right above the refrigerator, so the fridge stopped me from going all the way through.
Yeah, they had been an even better story.
Right. What was it? I've seen people, we had a guy, I didn't know him personally, but he worked for the cable company, and he was going on the attic, and it was one of those where big tall vaulted ceilings, and you're 2 stories up, and if he would have fell to the left, he would have landed on the second floor landing, but he fell to the right. Yeah. And he ended up passing away. Really? Because it was
20-foot drop at least.
Yeah. So you get up there and you think about those things. The scariest is when we pre-wired homes, you're up there just with studs. Yeah. And you can see. Yeah. And you just feel, because we don't know. That's trust right there, buddy. Yeah. You trust in people that build that's going to not fall through. Because when you're in the attic, once it's finished, you don't. That fear of how high you are is not really there.
Because it's like you're walking on a floor, but you got to watch your step. I remember Todd Horn, we built a barn, or he built a barn, or somebody built a barn. But I can remember being down there, and it's his bigger hay barn now, putting a roof on. And there were a couple guys from church there too, and they had them Pazload nail guns, like a little gas canister,
Okay.
And every time Dad never had anything like that. It was always a hammer and a nail, and then he got an air compressor, or with a nail gun. And that's what he uses now. But we was up there, and that guy, Scott Moore, I think it was, handed me that nail gun, and he said, "Here, you can reach over." And I was young, I didn't care. No roof on, you're just walking on sheeting boards, and you can see, it's 20, 30 feet to the ground. And we're up there, and he handed me that nail gun, and I was trying to move or something, and I knocked it off my belt, and it went right through the crack, fell all the way to the ground. I don't think it broke anything, but somebody had to go down there and get it now.
Right.
And I think it was me, or somebody may have passed it back up.
I had they told me it was the company I just left before I came down here. Their guy we had, I guess, on a big water tower.
Mm-hmm.
We had a satellite. We were doing cameras for a police station, so we were sending cameras through, it's called a point-to-point, pretty much wireless.
Yeah.
Well, he had climbed up this tower, and he was up there, and then another guy was on the ground programming something, and he dropped a screwdriver or something, and he's 100 foot up.
Yeah.
That sucked. He said, my buddy said that screwdriver landed like this far from his foot. He said, that would hit me in the head.
He had killed him.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. No guns are fun, though. We had a staple gun,
Yeah.
and we shoot staples at each other.
There was a different time, I just thought of it.
Yeah.
Me and Todd would get tickled about this. We were putting new boxing on his barn.
Okay.
So the sideboards.
Yeah.
And Todd was up, you took off, either we put new on a new build, or we took off all the old and was putting new on. I can't remember either or. But Todd, all of them was off, and Todd was up there standing on the stringer, so he was up 10, 15 foot off the ground, and I'd go get the board, and with the guy on the ground, you lay the board up, and you lift it up, and you get them all level on the bottom. You do each one level as you go, and you might have to drop a little to do the ground or whatever, but you keep them level, and you say, all right, I got it, nail it, and then he'll put a nail in it up there, because up the top part's hidden.
Yeah.
The eave of the roof
Okay.
overhangs, and you don't see if one, like my fingers, you don't see if one board's shorter than the other.
Right.
But down on the ground,
They all got
you want it all to be flush.
even. Okay.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was just handing up boards, and I'd get it where I thought was right, and nail it. When we got down, you could see where he stopped working the bottom because it was good, and then it started doing this. The boards were, and you could cut them off and make it look right.
All right.
I think he left it. He come down, and he's like, he always called me a saphead. He'd say,
Right.
well, what are you doing, saphead? How hard is it to just
Get along.
put it in a straight line? And I don't know how old I was, probably
But you learn now, though.
Yeah, I've not done it since.
All right. But hanging drywall, you're
Yeah.
supposed to stagger.
Stagger your boards, yeah.
Yeah.
There was another time with Todd right down the road here, which that's where he lives, but on down, his Uncle Benny Knoll, he's dead and gone now. But on the back of Benny's farm, he had there's a big storm come through, and it laid over a bunch of trees on this back ridge. 40, 50 trees uprooted or something like that. Well, Todd, he wanted the firewood or maybe some of the logs, and he, of course, had a tractor and a truck and everything to get those logs out, but we had to get back there to them. And he told me, he said, he gave me a saw, and he said, I want you to cut like a 10-foot wide swath through the woods, little stuff, little saplings and stuff like that. That way we could drive a truck back in there or a tractor. And somehow I got lost. I was cutting my swath, but somehow I got off of the swath. I don't know what happened. I got lost back there somehow.
You're creating your own path.
Yeah, I was creating a path, but I couldn't make it back to the truck, or I couldn't make it back to the logs, one or the other, because I wasn't smart enough to follow the path that I'd cut. I don't know. It wasn't a straight path,
Right.
It was like this. And then that was just a fun memory I had. And it made me think while you were talking, oh, I'm going to lose it. Well, let me just tell this one. So back to Chris Fair.
Okay.
We're working there. You know, it was a pretty big, for the time, it was a pretty big grain farm operation for Case County. We had, I think, 3,000, 4,000 acres. Most of it was leased. And, corn, soybeans, wheat. So we had some nice equipment, big combine, couple good-sized tractors, John Deere 8440, if you know what that is. It's a articulating tractor that steers in the middle, had 8 wheels on it.
Okay.
Big cab tractor, old tractor. Had another one, had auto steer, but had a big sprayer, big, like you see run up down the road here. This one was a Caterpillar, I think, Rogator sprayer. I think it had like a 90-foot swath on it. It folds out. And I was at the shop one day, and he told me to fill that sprayer up with fuel. Is a diesel. Fill it. We had a big diesel tank. We had a big tank that had probably held 1,000 gallons. And then we had this smaller tank that was in a concrete box, and it was maybe a 250-gallon tank or something like that. And we had a forklift, and we would move stuff around with that forklift. And I can't remember what I was doing exactly, but I had the sprayer parked there, and it was getting fuel. And I was on the forklift, and I was driving towards I was facing that box, forklift and nothing on it, just a fork sticking out. And it was facing kind of toward that box that had the tank in it. And something caught my attention. I hopped off the forklift for a second. Then I heard a noise, and I turned and looked, and the fuel pump going into the sprayer, it didn't kick off when it filled up. So fuel was just pouring out of it.
Oh, wow.
And I freak out, and I go to run over there, and about the time I get to it, I see the forklift moving that I just got off of. And it rolls into that concrete box, broke through it, and then punctured the diesel tank that it was in there. So there's fuel going everywhere. And I don't know what to do first. You seen the video, like the guy, he's moving a boat with a forklift, and the fork pops off, and the boat takes off, and he goes runs over towards it, and it hits a truck, and then he turns around, look, and the forklift's going the other way, and it hits something. That's what it was.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Something was getting gasoline or diesel. You just didn't know which one was.
Yeah. I didn't know what was going on. It was a mess.
I wish they had video camera of this.
I know. Man, there's so many things that
You glad there's no
I wish
cameras?
were on video, because I love a good laugh.
Right.
I'll tell you this, and this is one that just popped in my head. I'll
Alright.
tell it right after a word from our sponsor.
There we go.
Here you go. You want to read something?
We can.
Or you can make it up. I don't care.
We can. Vintage honey here. Small batch lemonade. Yet you're missing out. Made right here in Liberty. Every bottle is handcrafted with love, bursting with flavor and hometown goodness. You can find her now at the Save a Lot and Liberty and the Bread of Life and Goods Riverside Creamery. And also you can find her in Russell Springs at Save a Lot and the fruit market there. And she's got tons of new flavors coming out, springtime flavors, a lot of your same, I guess I guess the flavor's the same, but different names.
Yeah.
And, but other than that, Vintage Honey, find her, message her on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and she'll do custom bottles if you got a party going on, gallon jugs, and she'll print you out some labels, put on there. But other than that, go find go get you some Vintage Honey.
Yeah. So real quick, I've got this, and this is
Strawberry coconut.
strawberry coconut. I'm not a big fan of coconut, but that's just me. You may
Right.
love it.
I do. It's one of my favorites.
All right. So
We
back
had-
to that story. Unless you were going to say
I was
something.
going to say we had her at the Valentine's Day party.
Yeah,
It was
not
big,
her,
but we had her lemonades, and
it was good.
her big hit there,
The peach,
the peach.
whatever, raspberry
Yeah,
peach.
yeah.
I like it. This
Okay.
funny little story that you wish you had a camera on.
Okay.
So working on this farm, grain farm, we would go and buy seed
Okay.
from in bulk. And we had a semi with a 53-foot van box trailer
Okay.
that you see run up down the road. Had one of those, and we'd go to wherever we were buying seed, and they'd fill the truck up with, with pallets of these big bags. And that we parked that trailer back there by that chicken litter pile, and that's where it sat. And if we needed seed, we went back there with forklift and got it off, whatever. So come down the end of season, planting was over. Maybe we were fixing to go buy some more seed. I don't remember. There was one pallet left in that truck or in that trailer back there.
Oh, in the back.
Yeah, well, it was in the nose of the trailer, and it needed to be, trailer needed to be cleaned out before you could go get more. So he told me, he said, go back there, take you whatever you need, whatever seed's in there, just throw it away, but we need to get that trailer clean. Okay, boss, I'm your man. I go back there, and I've got me a shovel, a bucket, you know, because there's more. I can't get the forklift back there, so it's just, you know, empty, or trailer sitting there. So I've got everything I need, and it's all at the nose of the trailer, so it's 53 feet long. And it's not real light in there. The only back doors are open. That's all you got. The pallet had one of those big bags, and it only had, you know, maybe that much in it, maybe a little more. Still too much. I couldn't pick it up or slide that pallet. So I was having to empty it out into a bucket, go out there and dump it out until I got it light enough that I could
Move it.
So I remember I had an old flip phone at the time.
Oh, yeah.
A little old flip phone. I don't remember what it was. And I had it in my pocket, and a lot of times I kept it on vibrate or it was on vibrate this day. I don't know why, but it was on vibrate. And I was in there, had on boots and blue jeans and whatever shirt, and I got to digging, and I noticed that there were mice in there. There was mice in that, you know, they get in that seed and they get to eating, and there were babies. When I'd stuck a shovel in there at one time, there was a bunch of them scurrying inside that bag. And, well, took a bucket or two, and then I went back up there to get another bucket, and I stuck it in there, the shovel in there, and one of them squealed about the time my phone vibrated in my pocket. And immediately in my head, there's a mouse in my pants. So what did I do?
You dropped your bridges.
In 53 feet, I was naked at the end of that trailer, standing there with a shirt on.
Oh, I'm glad there's no video of that.
I mean, just imagine you're up here in the nose of this trailer, and all of a sudden, you know that you got to get your pants and your boots off. And in, like I said, 53 feet, I was standing there
I
with.
was glad it wasn't no snake.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that.
It was funny. Nobody saw it. Nobody knew anything about it.
But still, buddy.
Yeah, it's
That's
fun.
kind of my fear one day. I'm going to go out to the garage and go grab something. I think it's a shovel, but
Yeah,
that shovel's moving.
Alicia, one time, I'll tell on her.
Yeah, because she went.
She called me one time.
Yeah.
Biscuit was, I don't remember, he was gone. He was at work. He was doing something, and she was at home. And she called me freaking out. Both of them are terrified of snakes. Biscuit's even worse than, he's worse than anybody I've ever seen. But, and you are too. You don't like snakes. I don't like them, but
I can deal with them, but I'm just not.
I deal with them, but if they scare me, they're going to die.
Right.
I don't care if it's.
Only good snake's a dead snake.
Yeah. So Alicia calls me one day and she said, Josh, I need you to come up here. There's a snake up here and I can't go outside. I seen it. It almost touched me. I don't remember. I'm going to exaggerate a little bit, but I don't remember how long it went, but she was freaking out. And I said, okay, calm down. You know, no big deal. I'll come.
You know,
So I drive up there and she meets me on the porch and she's like, I'll come through the house, you know, and look out the window and you can see it. Okay. It's outside. Yeah, but I'm not going over there. And it was in the area where between their house and their pool, they've kind of got a little fire pit area there, you know, nice little spot. There's some concrete and there's some spot to lay out next to the pool if you wanted to. But anyways, we looked through the window and she said, it's right down there. Okay, so she stays in there to watch. And I go back out and I go around the house and I'm walking and I'm looking and she's like, it's right there. It's right there. Okay, I'm looking and I think Harper was maybe, or Kaylee won. Kaylee Harper might not have been born yet. Anyways, I'm looking and the only thing I see something black. And I reached out there and picked it up. And it's a black trash bag that was kind of wadded up and laying there. And, and is this it? Is this your snake? And you just see the embarrassment roll over.
Right.
Because she had freaked plumb out.
I wish it was acted like it bit you or something.
Yeah, or attack me. That'd have been something. But
Start picking them, going.
it was funny enough then.
Yeah.
There was a time he was with me we were over on my grandpa's property looking at some firewood, walking through the woods.
Yeah.
And I'm in the front of him about 5-6 feet. And I'm walking and I'm talking to him. He's behind me, but he quits talking. And I turn around and look, and he stopped. He's about 30 feet away, and he just stand there froze. And I said, what? And he said, he pointed down, there's a snake laying in front of him. And I stepped right over that snake.
I was a stick.
Or, well, that or it come out right as I stepped. You know, it just come out, and he saw it, and he froze.
Right.
Scared to death of snakes. I mean, he would have laid there and had a heart attack and died before running from that snake just because he just can't.
Yeah.
I know some people like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that afraid of snakes.
No, I'm like, I'm just waiting. Zachary, I don't know. He's one, we always go to the zoo, and he'd be like, oh, let's get a snake.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm right. Last year, I'm lucky. I think we saw one snake by the pond, but who knows? Hopefully this winter here will keep them away.
Well, it will until it warms up.
I know.
And then they'll show up. Last year, I didn't see maybe 2 snakes all last year.
Yeah. I'm shocked y'all didn't see more doing that project in the woods.
Saw one.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, he scared me. It was just an old cow sucker, an old black snake. We're up on this hillside out in the middle of nowhere in Lancaster, and it's steep, and we're cutting these bushes, and Daniel's up the hill above me about 15, 20 feet because it's so steep you can't cover a big wide area. And I'm walking, and all of a sudden I see he's laying on a log. It was 4 or 5 feet long as a black snake, and it just terrified me. I'm like, whoa, hey, there's a snake. And he's like, where? And I said, it's right here. And he walks there and he looks at it, and it was cold.
Right.
The snake was cold. He was sunning.
Right.
And I took a stick, and I wanted it because I had to walk right through there where he was at. There was no going around him.
Right.
So I took a stick, and I, knocked him off that log, and he was real stiff. You could tell he was cold. And he kind of scurried around. He disappeared. But he's going downhill. He disappeared. And I said, you seen him? No, I lost him. And I thought, well, crap, here we are.
Right.
We know he's here, but we can't find him, and I've got to walk. Daniel goes back to work, and as soon next 2 or 3 steps, my feet flew out from under me, and I just knew in the back of my mind I'm gonna land on this snake. And I was probably kicking, trying to get up faster than
saw.
Had my saw in my hand. I think I tossed the saw. Just I gotta get away from this snake. That could have done been long
All
gone.
right. Talking about breaking stuff, I was helping him with this job, and he had the cheapest plastic bottles. Squirt bottles.
Yeah, they about $2 a piece.
And he's, let's be careful with your saw and this plastic bottle. Saw's in one hand and bottles in the other. And I don't know how I hit it. I don't know if, I don't think the saw hit it. I think something.
Horn or something, piece of wood.
Yeah. It ripped it. And I go to squirt and I look down and I had blue stuff all over my knees, my pants.
Yeah.
My knee, and it bled through my knee. My knee was like a Smurf. I just Smurf knee for.
Yeah, so it's a blue dye mixed in with some chemical it was using so you could see where you sprayed. And that blue dye, the guy who we're working for, he told me, he said, now listen, don't get that on you because it won't come off. Well, day one, I had it all over on hand. And a day or two later, I went and he went to see him and talked to him, whatever, and we always shook hands, and I just stuck my hand out there, and the hand was blue, and he's looking at it, and he said, what's that? And I said, well,
another chemical, you said.
Can't give dye to a dummy or something's what I said, right. and it coated my hand. It was on there for days.
Yeah. My knee was blue for
a week. You can't wash it off.
No.
It's commercial dye.
But it never stained my pants. My pants were fine.
Yeah, see, that's weird.
Yeah. But it was like those texture pants.
Yeah.
It wasn't like cotton.
Daniel would hang his squirt bottle on it at his pocket there.
Yeah.
And when he'd go home at night, his hip would be blue.
Oh,
and it would leak out a little bit.
That's funny.
So I got to buy some better bottles. Those were the Tractor Supply $2 bottles. I'm going to get some aluminum ones or something.
Yeah, but my fear was I'm going to mess this chainsaw up.
Yeah.
I'm going to mess it up, breaking stuff, and that was the first time.
Yeah.
I've never used a chainsaw. I didn't even know how to start it.
Yeah, we had our issue there.
We had a 101. But no, that was fun.
Yeah.
Well, what else you got? I mean, you got broken stuff or lost stuff.
Yeah, I was going to tell this one about breaking. The most recent thing I broke, on the tree service. So the most recent thing I broke, and I don't break a lot of things.
All right.
We'll you might break an axe or something of mine. I do my best not to tear up a homeowner's property.
Well, I broke that rake.
Yeah, we've broke rakes.
Damn on the ground.
Daniel had one. He zip tied, but zip ties because the handle was broke, and ended up we had to throw it away or just took a handle off of it and put another one on. But we had this job. It ain't been a year ago. We had this job over on Bastion Creek up a holler. These people, they lived in Indiana and they'd owned this little hunting property and nice little cabin back here in the woods. And he called me, he had some tree work he wanted done.
Okay.
And they don't live there. They live in Indiana. So I go and me and my brother went to look at the job and it beautiful place. We drove 3/4 of a mile up a holler once you left the road. It was secluded. And we get up there and there's this old hand-hewed log cabin. It'd been updated, of course. There was no power other than solar that they had. All the water they had was a well stuck up out of the ground, and they had a little well house built above it with a pulley on it for a bucket. You let the bucket down and you pull the rope back up to you.
Like what you think of a well. That's when I think of a well.
Yeah.
That's what you have.
Yeah. So we went and looked at the job, and all of it was pretty easy except for this one tree, and it was a huge oak tree behind the cabin, and it laid right for that cabin. If it was going to fall, it was going to fall on that cabin. And we agreed on a price, blah, blah, blah. We go back to do the job, me and Daniel, and we do everything except that oak tree. And I waited. This was on a Friday. We waited. And I was nervous about it. I didn't want to climb it.
Sunday you were stressed out.
Yeah, I didn't want to climb it. Bucket truck wouldn't do me any good. It wouldn't reach high enough. Wouldn't do me any good there. And it would have had to come down. And I'm pretty good at falling a tree. And I thought, I can miss that house. So I talked to Daniel about it. I talked to the owners about it. And I said, look, this is what I want to do. I said, I'm going to about guarantee I can miss your house. Because if it had hit that cabin, it'd have turned into a duplex easy. It just split it right down the middle. And it's a good sized tree. It was yay big around, and it leaned out of the ground, meaning it wasn't straight and then leaned. It grew out of the ground at a funky angle, laying right for that house. And looking back, I should have just climbed the thing, sucked it up and climbed it and took off what I could and then fell it. But I didn't. I thought if I can get a rope up there in that fork, and they're about, 30 feet, 40 feet up there was a fork of the tree. I thought if I can get a rope right there and then run it over to a pulley on this other tree and then hook it to the truck and do a little compensation pull, notch it a certain way, and I was going to pull out every trick I had as far as notching and cutting, I can miss that house. And they said, sounds good. And I said, here's the kicker. I can't miss that well house. There's no way I'm going to get that tree to pull that far and turn that much with my cut to miss that well house. He said, that's fine. The well house doesn't matter. We're not worried about the well house. I said, but the well sticking up out of the ground was PVC. And if you broke that off, then you got to dig down and cut it off and replumb it. And I didn't want to hit it, but they're more worried about the cabin.
The cabin.
Okay. I said, but we're not going to do it today. I said, we're going to do it Monday. And I'm going to pray about it all weekend. Okay. They said, well, we're praying people too. We'll pray about it too. Awesome. And like he said, I was nervous. All weekend, I was bent out of shape. I had this tree on my mind, thinking about ways I could get it down safely without having to climb it and blah, blah, blah. Got there early Sunday morning. It was cold. Pulled up there and we put a rope in it first and got the rope set up because I wanted to tug on it and see how much it's going to move or if I need to go higher with my rope. And I did. It moved pretty good. And I told him, I said, I want everybody out of the house, just in case. And there was husband, wife, 2 kids, and another guy, older son or something like that. They all got away from the house and got down over the hill. Put my notch in it. And like I said, I'd prayed about this tree all weekend. And they said they had too. Don't know if they did or not. Don't know if Daniel did. But I think I asked other people to pray about it. I said, this is a serious thing.
It's a prayer request at church that he mentioned it.
This can make it or break it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
It got to the point where he didn't know if he was just gonna walk away from that tree.
yeah, I thought about just saying, hey, look, I'm not gonna do it, but whatever. So I notched it. We tugged on it hard. Had a good pull on it. I started cutting. Red oaks tend to be, especially around in this part of the country, the guts of them on your other bigger trees can be not that good of wood. I don't know if it's something to do with the ground or the minerals in the ground, but a lot of times they'll kind of hollow out a little bit. This one had a little, and when I cut around and got my hinge set, it just popped and took off. And I backed up and I saw it's missing the house. Missed it completely. Crushed that well house. Just absolutely crushed it. I had a video of it and everything. It just tore it apart. And I'm standing back there, took a deep breath or let out a deep breath and put my saw down, and I walked down there to that well house. And this will show you. I wish I'd have took a picture. I didn't take a picture of it because it was proof. That well sticking up out of the ground, and the fork of that tree landed right over that, and it never touched it, the well casing. Now, if that ain't God,
Right.
saying, hey, yeah, you're gonna hit it, you're gonna tear it up, but you were more worried about this,
Right.
and I'll take care of you because we gave it to him. That's probably, I've had other instances where I've been up, climbed a tree, and get up there and think, boy, this is stupid. Why I'm scared? Why would I be here? And God's kept me safe through that. But that's my example of prayer works for something. It may not mean nothing to anybody, but we ended up $200. I rebuilt that well house for him.
Right.
Me and Dad went back and built it, but it would have cost more and been more time if I would have tore up that well casing.
Yeah.
It was a lot more digging. There was more money involved. But just that'll be my biblical touch of, if you got something, if you're going through something, pray about it. Give it to God. May not work out the way you want it to. I wanted that to miss the well house completely, and then be hailed this great tree faller, but I wasn't.
But weren't they tickled to death though?
They were. Thing hit the ground, and they come up there, and she looked at me and she said, "How did you do that? How did you miss that?" I said, "Lady, it wasn't me. That was God. God did that."
Yeah.
So that was a little story about me tearing something up. I've got another one in the back of my head, and I lost it. I can't remember what it was. But hand me a piece of paper. How long we been at it?
About 50 minutes.
Oh, good. We'll cut her off in a minute. But real quick, I'm going to tell you about our other sponsor.
Yep.
Where are they at here? The Buck. Now, how many of y'all, it's been 2 weeks, so since we've been on there, how many of you have checked out the Buck? Classic Country, WKDO, Classic Country 98.7. Stay connected to your hometown. Would be our hometown. Start your mornings with Jerry on the Buck Morning Show. Weekdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Bring you the best country tunes, local news, plenty of laughs to get your day started right. He also does a little daily reverse. And there's the Buck Shop Monday through Friday. Buy, sell, swap, and trade. Cruise through your afternoon with Crystal on the Afternoon Drive Show from 1 to 6 p.m. Keeping you entertained with more classic country hits and the latest weather updates. And when the sun goes down, like that song. And when the sun goes down. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Jeff
Yeah.
Hendrickson? Is that his last name?
Anderson.
I think it's Hendrickson.
Hendrickson.
Yeah, Jeff Hendrickson with Classic Country Nights. Tune in from 6 to 10 p.m. for the legends of country music, playing all the songs you know and love. No matter when you listen, WKDO 98.7 is your go-to for the music you love and the local updates you need. Listen live anytime at chasingthebuck.com and keep it locked to 98.7 WKDO, your hometown, Liberty, Kentucky radio station. They do some bluegrass on there,
Yeah.
do some gospel.
Sundays they have some preaching and gospel hours.
Yep, there'll be some different people on there.
And talking about Jeff, do you know Jeff any?
I've never met him, no.
I've met him. He makes barbecue sauce,
Oh, really?
and you can get it over there at Good's Creamery. They're gonna sell it.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to try that out.
He's all big barbecue man, and I don't know where else he sells it at, but I heard him on the radio today talking to Jerry that You get that over at Goods. I got a bologna sandwich there the other day, and it was amazing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, bologna with onion, lettuce, tomato, pickle, mustard,
Loaded.
loaded.
That sounds pretty good. You know, they're not one of our sponsors.
But they're
They're a new business, just opened up.
Yeah.
Goods Riverside Creamery down there below the Bread of Life. And I'm just going to give them a little shout out here.
You can see our friends Vintage Honey over there.
Yeah, Vintage Honey. Go check out the guys' barbecue sauce. They do ice cream. They're going to be selling milk, fresh, raw milk, cheese, ice cream, stuff like that. Check them out. And just as a tidbit, for you know, I don't want to give a big shout out or a constant shout out to people that don't sponsor us.
Right.
But there's this girl you used to go to church with. She lives up here near Tommy and Laura. She just started a Facebook page.
Okay.
It's called Proverbs 31 Bakery.
Is that? I saw that.
Yep. And she stays at home, I think, and she bakes. And you can buy.
The bread, sourdough bread.
I told her, I said, I'll take a loaf. Now, here a while back, there's a store up in Perryville.
Yeah.
We were working up there, and I went up there to put out some more business cards, and I bought 2 loaves of sourdough bread, and I bought a thing of homemade cinnamon rolls, and I ate every one of them. Didn't give Ashley one at all.
She was mad.
Man, things were good. But anyways, I gave Daniel a loaf of bread, and I kept a loaf, and I loved it. And I told Ashley, I said, we can make our own sourdough bread. Well, it's like a 7 or 10 day process. You got to put it in a jar, and then you got to feed it a little every day and discard so much.
Yeah.
And it's one of them things that you just forget about if you ain't careful. Life gets in the way.
Yeah.
Ours ruined. And I told her, I said, I'm just going to buy my bread from now on. So.
But she made that one loaf. She showed us a picture. It looked really good.
Who?
Ashley. Didn't
Yeah. Yeah. But that wasn't sourdough. That was yeast bread. That was like a 1 day thing.
Oh, okay.
This sourdough takes 7 to 10 days.
Gotcha.
You got to feed your starter and let it do what it does.
Okay.
So this girl, Sammy's her name.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I'll take a loaf. And it's, you know, everything's homemade, a little higher. It's fine. I don't care. She gave me a loaf. I'll show it to you up there.
Okay.
Man, that thing is huge.
Like tall?
It's probably that tall, and it's a big loaf of bread.
Yeah.
So, Proverbs 31 Bakery.
Yeah.
Get on Facebook. Menu prices. It's more than just sourdough. So get on there and check her out.
You think she'll do the farmer's market?
She may. I don't know.
Because there's a lady out of, I think Houstonville. We were buying like sourdough bread.
Yeah.
And cookies. She made some cookies that were really good.
Yeah, she had cookies and muffins and this, that, and the other. I don't know. But
Are you a big French toast guy?
I like French toast on a brioche bun or brioche. How do you say it?
Yeah. Bruschetta?
Yeah, probably. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's spelled brioche.
Right.
But I like French toast. Like if you go to a restaurant, I'll order French toast.
Yeah. That's cool.
Will you?
I make some for the kids every now and then.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I've never made it.
It's pretty easy. Little eggs and stuff. You dip it in there.
Yeah, dip your bread.
Yeah. But eggs are they're too expensive.
They're more than a dime a dozen.
Sponsor some eggs.
I heard on the radio today, somebody up in Pennsylvania stole $40,000 worth of eggs.
100,000 eggs. What do you do with 100,000 eggs?
You can't freeze them.
No.
You know, you can't
They go into a fight?
eat them all. I mean, you could start egging houses, I guess. You could sell them on the black market.
Right.
But, you know, if you stole them, you got them for nothing. You could sell them for $3 a dozen. Nobody
Right.
ever pay any attention to you.
All right.
Make you money.
But imagine getting arrested. What are you in here for? Had the greatest egg heist in America ever.
The yolk bandit.
The yolk.
It's like on Home Alone.
Yeah, sticky. The wet
Sticky
bandit.
bandits, the wet bandit.
All right. The yolk bandit.
Yeah.
You got a game for us to play?
Yeah, we can do one.
We're at about 59 minutes.
Okay, we'll throw a little game. It works better if we have more people.
I know.
60-second story.
Yeah, I'm not good at this.
It doesn't matter.
All right.
I can maybe go first, but
I think
you pick the verb.
Okay. Like
and
what?
A verb, so an
verb.
action word. It could be.
I'm trying to, you know what a verb.
I remember English class. You know, just you pick,
All right.
and then we have 60 seconds to tell a story related to that word.
All right. Let me get my timer here.
So you can pick action verb, or I can pick.
You at home pick our word. I'm just kidding. That wouldn't work like that.
If we were live, we could do that.
All right. Timer 60 seconds. Not 60 minutes. We'd be raw. An action word.
Yep.
Okay.
It's the first thing comes to your mind. And then you gotta give me a minute to come up with a story.
Okay. Running.
Running. Okay, got one.
All right.
So that was fast. So I'll tell mine. I'll say go when I'm ready, but I gotta make sure I get it right. Okay. Go. So once upon a time, we had some cows there at Mom and Dad's house, and I would go. We go feed them, and we was raising. And there was this one old mama cow. If I go a little over, it's fine. There was this. There was this one old mama cow, and I remember going down there and you shake a bucket, bucket of feed to get them coming. Well, the calves come up, and I can vaguely remember it. I vaguely see it in the back of my mind. This big old white Charolais cow comes flying and sliding around the side of the barn, coming at us because she wanted feed, coming at us strong, like on the cartoons where they kind of their hind end slips away from them, but they're still just a running in place. It scared me absolutely to death. And I dropped the bucket of feed, and I ran and jumped and cleared the gate. Just never even touched it. And that cow just walked right up there and started eating like it was nothing. But to me, it was a scene from, I don't know, a horror story of this cow was going to kill me. Hot dog.
You practiced that story. You practiced that
I
story.
did not. You the one picked running.
I know.
Hold on, I'm going to go get my timer.
Okay.
And that ain't it. Is it under compass? No, it's
No.
alarms.
It's under timers.
I got it here.
You go clock. the timer.
Okay, you've got running.
Oh, I got to do running too?
Hold on a minute. How you do this?
Let me just do the same timer I got.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Running.
Running.
Go for
Okay. I don't know. I'm not a good storyteller.
it. I mean, did you not even sit and think about a story?
I was watching the timer.
You were a city boy from the city. You're a
Right.
bit sporty.
All right. One time I was walking down the street and we were going to go play some. You won. I get
What
right.
do you mean?
I don't know. I can't.
You
come up.
were trying to make something up with you.
Yeah, I got chased up by.
You mean you've never been at practice and was running and somebody threw up?
No, not really. But I went not for a minute story.
Well, you got to make it. You got to tell it fast. It's just that's the fun of it.
Okay, well I'll work on that.
Oh my goodness!
Well, you did a good job.
Appreciate it.
You did a good job.
That's a good story.
I wonder if all his stories are really true.
They're all true. Every one of them I've told thus far, unless I've said I made
All right.
that up. I ain't gonna lie to you.
All right,
To sin.
see it.
Well,
We've had our scripture there. Always pray.
yeah. Is there a verse for
First
that?
Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 17 says, "Pray without ceasing."
There you go. There you go.
So
All right. Well, we'll wrap
Yeah.
it up. We'll get out of here. We're gonna go outside. We're gonna build a snowman, or we might
Build-
do some snow angels.
yeah, snow angels.
Yeah. So like, share, subscribe, comment, tell your buddy, write home to your mom about it. Send us a hat,
Write a comment.
something.
We put a hat rack up.
Yeah, my wife will be proud. I had to hang a coat rack a while ago, and I hung all my hats on it. So
We went from one hat to 10 hats.
yeah. This one here, my buddy, is that red?
Yeah, red.
DMT,
DMT trucking.
Danny Miller Trucking here in Liberty,
He
Kentucky.
didn't even get his friend one.
Well, they gave me the hat. They didn't say, here, take two.
You could have asked one for my buddy. And you didn't go to the farm and machinery show and get me anything.
I didn't go. No, it was raining. I didn't want to go get wet.
I'm glad because coming back would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. Or, I didn't want to have to park and walk half a mile in the rain. Well, anyways,
All right.
y'all have a good day.
Yep.
Stay warm. Drink your milk. Milk builds strong bones. I don't know. I'm just going to start writing down useful pieces of advice.
Right.
I'll just give you a piece of it.
Don't drink the yellow snow.
Yeah. Don't eat. You can't drink snow. But
Don't make no snow cream out of the yellow snow.
all right. Lots of luck to you and yours.
All right. Bye.
I love you.